Hi, it's Marissa. As I was reading the article, Animated Disney Movie Moments That Did Not Age Well, I was actually very surprised on how much I missed when I was a child. I know that Disney would put like inside jokes to make the younger adults and the older people to understand and to like the movie better, but I did not realize how much I missed just because it was so overlooked. I know that Disney's always had some controversy, especially the older Disney, on like stereotypes and culture differences and everything like that, but I just never imagined it to be this bad. For example, I was really surprised when I watched the Dumbo scene. Dumbo was one of my favorite movies, and I didn't realize that he was drinking alcohol as a child. I was like, why is he all disoriented if it was just water? But now that I think about it, that was a baby. Like Dumbo was a baby elephant, so him drinking, that was kind of an unsettling scene. Also when I was watching Pinocchio, I was surprised that they would put like a cigarette and like a drug type of use, because I remember when I was a kid, I asked my mom, I'm like, um what is that? And she's like, it's a cigarette. And she's like, why is that in the movie? And I'm just really surprised that they would put that in a children's movie. Another example is the After Cat, the Asian cat. I was very surprised that they put this type of thing in there, because I know that Asian culture has always been slandered by society, and you would think that Disney would just like make sure that that would not be the case, but it was. Like making the cat with buck teeth and slanted eyes and singing in a very Asian accent with chopsticks, that was very stereotypical of Disney and kind of offensive to the Asian culture. And so I'm not surprised that it became and had a lot of backlash against it, because that makes a lot of sense. What surprised me the most was definitely the Peter Pan scene. When they were talking to the Native Americans, they were making the Native Americans seem like they were weird, and they had weird gestures and dances, and they were loud and ignorant. And that's just not the case. Like when I watched that, and then when Peter Pan like kissed that Native American, and that's why it made his face red, that was just a very weird concept. And I believe that that was no wonder why that had so much backlash, because that was bad. I know that there were some instances, like when I was watching the Sleeping Beauty and the Snow White, I thought it would be okay since, you know, the prince was kissing the princess because it was saving her, and I did not think in a way that it could be non-consensual and that it would be a big issue. But now that I think about it in society, it is it's very known that like for consent, and so now when I think about it, it probably is a little wrong that they do have it that way, and they probably should get rid of that, but they didn't do that in the live version. So I don't really know how to feel about that scene, but I do think that it is important for Disney to revisit these movies and maybe take out the moments that were kind of bad and revise it to make it more children-like. Especially in today's society, everyone's very they get their opinions very known, and it's very critical to society to like make these known. So I think if Disney revised the story and made it more children friendly and more society built, then I think it would be more relevant and known, and people would have less of a problem than the older version of Disney, which was more stereotypical and not very culturally accepted. So